and especially the roll mechanic. I know we got this game to be in, but I just hate the Deadlands roll mechanic. The great thing about the GURPS roll mechanic, it's all based on that normal curve. It's all just how
3d6.
statistics work. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're more likely to roll toward the center than on the edges.
So funny
Most obvious
enough,
thing in the world.
the next campaign I'm gonna try and do I rebuilt the magic system in 3.5, and I'm gonna try and do like an all wizard plus campaign, and just reduce all the classes down to 12, like make 3.5 OSR basically, but also have the overly complicated mechanics for like grappling and all that fun stuff, right?
Okay.
Shit, I'm losing my train of thought.
I think the cutoff I typically saw for like, it depends on like how hardcore you want it, but I saw a lot of people do cutoffs at 6 and 10. I mean, if you want the higher level magic, I think 12 is good. I mean, I like all the options and spells and stuff, so it's up to you.
It starts breaking down at 12. I mean, we're going to 20, whether I want to or not. Like, I've never been there, so I want to see at least vicariously through my players what happens.
What I think about a lot in regards to this is that this, to some degree, always has to be power fantasy.
Yeah.
That to some degree,
you're superheroes.
Well, to a degree, like none of us have real authority within our lives. We always have a boss. We always have someone above us who tells us what to do. Here in this reality, we can actually shape things. We can actually be a pivotal force, and higher level equals more change. Typically, personally, I don't care about whether or not I can annihilate half a moon. I just want to have some agency in my life.
Right.
What gaming allows me to do, no matter what power level.
Sure.
All right, so back to the game here. How many of you were hunting for the frog again? Everybody?
I think so.
Yeah. So whoever is going to roll, you'll get a +5.
I know about these frogs, but I guess he'll... You know, if you say they can cure poison, I guess that's like a good reason to have one.
Okay.
So is the whole part... Have we...
Is anybody watching the camp while we're hunting for frogs?
Yeah, so here's the question. Have we gathered the meat that we want in that last shift?
Spent gathering meat. I think a few folks got tusks and teeth. And then hide if anybody wanted it at two 5-foot square sections per the one watch. So whatever you wanted out of that, you guys have it now. The watch is spent. We're into dusk and frog hunting.
Might want to stay behind and keep collecting hide.
You will?
I might. Unless you guys really want me to go with you.
I prefer you go with us and have Skull stay with the boar, because he's not a big frog hunter, right? You didn't seem too keen on it, Skull.
I also don't want to necessarily abandon him.
True enough.
Should I go with one other person and we'll go find the frog and just kind of try and tackle 2 tasks at once, but like safely?
Sure. I volunteer to go to the frog.
Okay.
Go find it.
Okay, so it's going to be 2 and 2.
Party vote. Does 2 and 2 seem good?
Yeah, I'm happy to be anywhere.
Awesome.
Okay, so the group staying with the boar can roll a group roll, will be a +1, and then the frog hunting group can roll a +4 because it's the 2 people going with you plus the performance bonus that we had discussed before.
That's pretty good.
Am I doing a scouting?
Yeah, whoever's going to lead each of the rolls can go ahead and roll with those bonuses. And it would be scouting.
I will volunteer doing the scouting roll.
Please scout for us. Okay.
Hey.
That's pretty good.
A success.
Yeah, that's all we want. That's all we need.
Real quick reminder. When you get a skull, you get willpowers on the first roll?
No, if you, on the first roll, get a skull, it counts for nothing. If you get a skull once you push, then it both takes a damage to that attribute and gives you a willpower point, which is why I'm going to be doing a lot of pushing.
Right.
because the way I like my guy is damaged and with a lot of willpower. So
Right.
I'm going for.
Is there any other way to gain willpower?
You can
So-
regain them, right? If you're rested.
Yeah, resting regains them. There's some sort of drink that the night axe ogres use that gives you willpower. There's probably
Okay.
other ways.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember our buddy gave us that, magic Gatorade.
Yeah. Right. We should go back to him soon.
More of that.
We should stock up. I'll have a whole cooler on my back.
We do have some stuff to probably give.
Just pass out monster to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who's
dunk it
rolling
on the
for
coach when we kill the boar.
Frog hunters.
Oh, here he just rolled for the frog hunters.
Oh, that was for the frog hunters? Okay.
Yeah, I got 1-6.
Who's rolling for the group that's staying behind?
Cutting hides.
I guess I can.
So
Oh,
you're
wait, are we
plus
rolling
one.
scout?
Yeah, scout with a +1.
Jaw, do you want to roll that since I'm rubbish? at
Jaw's
scout?
rolling for the
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go ahead and
Hunting
roll
team.
this then.
Yeah.
Because that should be based on wits, which I have 4 in. Oh, I've got 3 in wits? Oh, because I took some damage. So, good luck, me.
Oof.
That's inauspicious. I'm going to go ahead and push that. That's bad. That's real bad. But luckily, both of
Yay.
those were on the first roll, so I didn't gain 1,000 damage on that one. I don't.
Okay, so for the frog hunters, which is Jazzy, and that's it, right?
That's it, yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So you all, or the pair of you, push deeper into the jungle to the southwest, and this doesn't need to be on the map, so we can just say on this map. But you kind of push through this verdant wall of just vines and leaves, and you come into a small clearing of kind of these iridescent plants of basically every color, and you can see. Flopping from leaf to leaf, what kind of catches your eyes is the leaves, these many colored leaves flopping in absence of any breeze, are these crystal frogs jumping through this plant. And there seems to be about 5 of them.
2 more than last time.
Yeah, a whole range of colors. So how are you going to go out trying to catch them?
Do we have a full rainbow kind of a deal?
Don't they
yeah,
change based on mood? So, or mood of the owner.
their hearts change color based on the mood of the owner. Yeah.
Did I hear them make a sound when I saw them the first time?
No, they were silent. And
Are they making
Right
a sound now?
you did hear a faint kind of chirping as you were coming through that wall of foliage, but right now they're not.
Can I try and mimic the chirp?
Sure. So that would be a performance.
Oh, I'm real bad at that. Oh man.
Hold on, am I good at performance? I might have a different strategy.
I don't have confidence in doing that.
I mean, you can always take a shot at it, but yeah, you guys would generally know who's good at what just from your previous work together before the island.
Yeah.
So
I'm
yeah.
pretty
No,
hurt
exceptional thing.
from our whole adventure that we still haven't really finished yet. I would like to take some time to go well out of the way to get to the opposite flank of where the tree person is at, so that we are 180 degrees
Hey.
around the Zam.
Okay, so
180 degrees around the frog pile.
you're both going to attempt some kind of pincer movement.
Temporal pincer movement.
Or if they have confidence in mimicking or doing something else while I'm doing that. But I'm gonna take a good 15 minutes to
Okay.
quietly make my way around to the other side.
So Jaw is slowly making his way through the undergrowth. Z, are you going to attempt to make a sound or just kind of mirror his movements?
I am looking to see if I could like a stealth or a sleight of hand. Yes, I'd like to do a sleight of hand, try like a pickpocket movement, trying to grab one of these frogs and make it seem like it's just like, a tree is growing closer to it. Slowly.
Okay, I would say that's fair since he was just saying that it's going to take like 15 minutes to slowly make the move. So if you're both attempting a pincer movement, you can do a group roll. It'll be a +1 for rolling as a group and a +1 for your maneuver, so +2. So whoever wants to make that sleight of hand roll.
Sleight of hand.
I'll do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the description's good enough to count it as sleight of hand.
Okay.
Sleight of hand.
I have a 3 total.
2. You have a 3? What? 5. You do it.
Okay. 3 + 2.
It's for both of us. Okay.
Yes.
I unfortunately cannot push it.
All right. Again, the frogs do escape you.
Do we know the direction they escaped to?
Yes, they're heading off to the north, and we're about halfway through our watch.
If we can, we need to powderize either like gypsum or find a bag of flour or something, because we will be able to track things a lot better if we can fluff them with the dust and then let them go.
Okay.
But future things.
All right, so you're gonna just pursue for now.
I'll ask Zam what they want to do. These things are real slippery.
It's Z, or yeah, Zam if you want. Either way.
Z's fine.
Sam. Shoot. I kind of want one of these frogs. I think it would be a nice addition to our little family here. So I'd like to pursue a little further.
Okay. I'm down. I just don't want to get way too far away from the rest of the party. They do kind of rely on us.
They do.
Do you want a scout?
Yeah, if you could give me another group scan roll, so just a +1 for you two working together.
Well.
Beautiful. Okay. So you head off into the jungle, and our friends over at the boar. So we're about halfway through the watch. So what were each of you trying to get? More skin?
I guess we have all the meat that we possibly could. Do I see
Right.
a tusk that could be useful as a wand?
So yeah, so this thing's tusks are like kind of more on the order of like large swords or short spears.
In that case, is there anything sticking out of its hide that could be usable as a wand?
The spears we made.
Yeah, so you can either cut a sliver of that tusk or maybe work on one of its bones. There's not really anything left in the hide that's wand-like other than what you guys have already collected as part of your haul
Okay.
last session.
I'll look around that and realize that I'm not going to get a wand out of this thing and be cool with that.
I mean, you can cut a sliver of the, try to like cut one off the tusk if that's what you want to be doing. Like
I
just
can.
fraction off a part of it, basically.
I can. I assume I'd roll strength for that to see if I was successful. Because I don't have any crafting.
Right, yeah, just be a strength roll then.
Okay, well, we'll try that, but mostly only so that I can embarrass myself publicly. Success. Let's push it.
Hey.
All right, perfect. So no, I don't succeed. Is what I'm concluding.
You could whittle down one of
I'll
its
try.
ribs.
I mean, yeah. I assume I'll run into the same problem though of me being a wuss. So I think that I'm just going to acknowledge that this is not the origin story of my wand. We're going to find another one, but this is not how I get it. So
That's fair. Amadan, what are you doing? Or Sisgul, I should say.
I think I would. Sorry, which person was I paired up with?
You're
We
with
were-
Zernak, still at
Yeah.
the boar.
Right. So I would go trying to get more hide off of it, I think, wasn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then you've gotten another 5 square foot section of hide.
So we have 3 total now?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. All right, and then while you're doing that, your friend Zernak seems to be hacking up the boar's tusk and fails to remove a section and kind of stumbles back off the thing's body and into a group of vines that slither around him and start to constrict him.
Sorry, this is me?
Oh,
Or is this...
That's you.
Okay, well, I'm against vines constricting me. Can I evade them?
Let's see here. No, you cannot. Since this is a surprise attack, you don't get to make a dodge or a parry. You are wrapped up in these vines covered in these orange flowers and red leaves, even a few peppers, if you will. And we have started a combat. So on the tab section on top right, if you go to the fifth section, that's the combat tracker. You both have initiative rolls. That thing acted before initiative and is now in initiative. So I wonder why it's not showing your character names. I'll work on that. So Zernak, you are wrapped up in this thing. What are you gonna do? What's your move?
So is this like a mat of vines, or is there a central structure?
It appeared to be a bush of some sort, just covered in vines. But as you stumble back into it, they wrap around you, and it's some sort of creature. Just a writhing mass of vines. As far as you can tell, you don't really feel bones or anything inside of it.
Okay, and is it constricting me now, or could I potentially just step out of it?
It's constricting you. You're wrapped up. Like you can't freely move, basically.
Okay, I'm going to place the palm of my hand against its largest mass and call upon my elven blood to do damage with it using Bear Claw.
Okay.
Which I think I spend a willpower to bring it down to 1. And I think that I need to make a roll of 2, I believe, in order to cast my spell. Let me see.
Are we as a group innately aware of your elven lineage, or have we just kind of had like suspicions because you like rounded your ears off and everything?
My guy very obviously has elven blood.
Okay.
He deliberately, or someone cut off the tip of his ears, but it's unequivocal my character has elven ancestry.
Gotcha.
So I think that I just roll my power level to see whether or not I explode, to see whether I go boom, is my impression.
Yeah, so there is a, back on the homepage, if you click the magic card, it'll take you through how to cast a spell if you want to refer to that. It's consolidated as I can make the rules.
Gotcha. Yeah, I see that right here, and this is normal. I don't have a spell or grimoire to use fast action, so yeah. Okay. Let's see what final power is. It is normal.
You're not dead.
Not either go up or down.
Okay.
So I hit the thing for 2 damage, I suppose, because I'm pretty sure that's how the Bear Claw spell works.
And this is against strength.
Yes, I believe it does damage directly to strength. But it is not entirely clear within the text.
Okay. So you do manage to damage it. You're not broken free yet, I believe.
I'm going to shout out as I do so, Sizzler, help!
So you do manage to kind of blast off some hunks of vines, and it does seem like its grip on you is loosening, but it's not quite let you go yet. So Sizgul, your friend, is wrapped in vines, Do you want to describe what your spell
did
looks like to
notice
us?
The
Okay.
vine. Huh?
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I noticed him stumbling into the vines. I'm muttering to myself about, clumsy, not paying attention. Don't you know this is a jungle that's trying to kill us? And I'm gonna go over there and try to slash at vines that don't, as best I can, slash the vines without slashing at him.
Okay, so
Do
that's
it.
good. You made that note. So you're gonna roll your attacks with -1 since you're trying not to hurt your friend.
And in my
And,
sorry.
and I'm sorry. Where do I find the attack roll?
So in your character sheet,
Yeah.
in the combat tab, you have your dagger set up as a weapon you can roll, or I think you can roll from. Oh, maybe not.
Here we go. Okay, it pops up a thing. Okay. And it's a -1.
Sorry, you're a little quiet.
I think the music's drowning me out.
Okay.
-1.
Yes, -1.
Well,
All right. Do you want to push that?
And pushing that takes a willpower point, right?
Yeah, willpower point, and you're gonna take 1 strength damage.
Yeah, I'll push it.
So on the top of your... Okay, got it. All right, so you're gonna take... Yeah, you're gonna go ahead and take that 1 strength damage, and you, I believe, gain a willpower point.
statistically
So I just
anonymous.
spent willpower point. That means I get the willpower point back.
I believe so.
Oh,
We'll say
okay.
yes, and I'll double check that afterwards. All right, so your friend is not any more free than he was, so...
At least you're there helping him.
Thank you. I'm thinking of that spell, Bear's Claw, as castigation or a punishment in the elven context. I assume that it's what elves used as their right to harm their slaves when they didn't do what they said.
Oh boy.
I rolled the wrong thing there.
Shambling boy.
Okay, Zernak, you're going to take 1 strength damage as the blind fire carpet begins to kind of crush you and is pulling you deeper into its maw.
I make a muffled screaming sound, trying not to attract predators, but also fully aware I'm dying.
All right.
Is there a way for me to turn down the music on my end? 'Cause
Yeah, sorry.
I barely hear you guys over the
Yeah, if you
If
right-click Groovy,
Yeah.
there's a sliding scale. You can move it all the way to 0 if you want to. We can all adjust it personally.
Yeah, so that's in our Discord voice chat, to be specific.
Oh, here we go. Okay, thanks.
Sorry about that.
I know I put more intense music on. Apologies. Without warning.
All right, so we're back at the top with Zernak. How are you gonna?
I'm almost dying, and the only move I've really got, because I'm in my head canon, my knife is over with the boar because I was using to carve stuff up. So I'm gonna grab a mass of these vines again, and am going to let out the crudest swear I know from the Covenant, which is I think something similar to "dang," and use punishment again.
Okay. I like it.
Nice. So that's power level 3. So I'm doing. I'm at 0 willpower, but I'm doing 3 strength damage to this guy right now.
Okay. So basically, you blow this massive vines apart, and they just fly everywhere, covering Sizzle and yourself. And you are free, and this plant beastie is quite dead. So we're out of combat.
immediately fall to my hands and knees and scramble forward in a panic, heading towards the corpse of the boar and my knife plunged into its carcass. I will feel comfortable again after about 5 minutes when I'm able to hold my knife again.
I'm yelling at him to calm down and stop running around like a chicken with its head cut off.
You can already hear my character apologizing profusely as he continues to scramble for his knife.
All right, so back with our frog hunting group as your friends nearly die, quite a distance away from you, beyond your hearing.
I was gonna ask if we heard anything.
Jam,
Nope.
I do not believe these frogs are in our destiny, at least in the near future. We know about them, we know they exist. Maybe we spend another day trying to find them, but it is getting late.
Yes. Frogs are not future today.
Okay, so you're giving up the hunt?
Yeah.
I believe so.
All right, so by the end of the watch and into darkness here, watch captain, if you could advance us a step, you can all be meeting back up at the boar's corpse.
We at night?
Yes.
On day 4?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're walking back to the boars. Say.
You see a significant number of vines that weren't here when you left.
Jesus, what happened here?
The vines can attack you. Watch out.
All of them?
I don't know about all of them, but those he points his dagger, the ones with those orange pepper things on
Pointing
it.
down.
They're the blind fire peppers. We have them back at camp, which we should be getting back to because it's getting quite dark.
It is.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah.
looking so good, my friend.
No, I stumbled into them. I'm lucky to be alive. If Siskel hadn't been here, I don't know what would have happened. I'm very lucky to be alive. I'm going to start heading over to the rope.
It is good, little man. I had my doubts about you before, but I think we all need each other.
Siskel squints at you.
Before, I said. Past tense. We are good now. Yeah, let's talk at camp.
All right, so we're heading back
So
to
who's
camp.
injured out of us? Super
I
injured.
certainly am.
Yeah.
I'm still concussed.
Oh jeez. We should put the squishies on the inside.
So that's your marching order, the 2 injured folks inside?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 6 ability damage.
Okay.
Spread across whatever you want.
I've got 1.
Okay, so we'll head back to camp. Does somebody want to give us a scouting roll?
Sure,
A group
No.
scan roll?
I will. Is that a plus
Can
1 for the
Can I
group?
declare my character is no
Yeah.
longer allowed to scout? Can I just...
I'm sorry, it's a +3.
3?
Yeah. What were
With
you
3
saying,
members?
Yeah. On it up.
Oh, just my character should not be allowed to scout. I think I've totally borked 2 of those rolls so far, so probably something to be avoided.
Don't worry, my friend.
Okay.
I am
perfect.
here for you.
All right, so we're all back at camp with your 3 sections of hide, various teeth, and all the meat you can cook over your campfire for the night.
When you're done chopping and slicing, let me see that knife when you are finished.
The butcher's knife?
Whatever knife you have.
Of course. One moment, please. I'll clean my knife carefully and then hand it to him.
I'm gonna go around to all the vines and cut them off at the base where it meets the dirt.
Okay, so yeah, all the vines on that cliffside there are kind of like writhing as you cut through them. So these are not quite as mature as a whole bonfire carpet is, but these vines do appear mobile.
Not taking our chances.
So you can cut like the top row of the cliff face.
Everything around our camp.
All the way down.
If it's like
Okay.
20 feet from our camp, I don't really care. But
Just keep in mind that the predators who come to eat us will avoid the vines as well.
we have a
it
day
actually
to
is
move.
part- Yes.
They will not be wilted and withering until at least a day.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, so what are you talking about? What are you planning at the campsite?
I'm going to use my chef ability to transform all this meat into food, and I assume that I'm doing that via smoking some bacon. So it's going to be delicious smelling, and it's going to attract some predators.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
And I tell you all that ahead of time, even though I don't have high survival. But
That's
I know things like the smell of bacon.
It's a waterfall, right?
Yeah.
How tall is the waterfall? Nice. Blade effect.
So yeah, that waterfall is you're about 50 feet up along that cliff edge.
Oh, that's boss.
Yeah, I love that.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Also very spooky.
Applause.
Yeah, I love that. Oh my goodness.
Is there anything behind the waterfall?
What do you mean, like behind it? Which way?
If I wade into the river and go to the waterfall, is there anything? If I go through the waterfall, is there anything?
Okay, yeah, you'd have to go like down and around the cliffs or climb down somehow.
That's fine.
Yeah, so let's see if there is.
If not, I would like to meditate at the foot of the waterfall.
Okay. As you kind of push through the waters of the waterfall, out of the corner of your eye, you see. Sorry. First, can you make me a wits roll, just a raw wits roll?
I sure can. Real good.
Okay. So you do find this kind of like, if you push the waterfall, there is a big opening of just kind of a very short, very wet cave. The ground is just slick with algae, and you're kind of like walking in ankle deep water. And in the darkness, kind of like this faintly shimmering, it's almost like, it's very hard to describe. It's almost like a glowing shadow of a flower. That's kind of this blackish purple color is in the corner of your vision.
How big?
And it's just growing out of this clump of dirt and rocks. And
is it like as big as my arms are around? Like
as big as your forearm, and it seems to come to this kind of like light gray flower at the top. And as you kind of turn towards it, it appears to be almost fading away. So what are you going to do?
Ethereally, like through the wall?
No, it's so you come through the water into the small cavern, and then like off to the side to your left, there's this shadowy flower that kind of catches your eye, and as you focus over on it, it starts to fade. So what are you going to do about that?
I'm going to rapidly approach it, maybe to get a better view on it.
Okay, so you're trying to get a better look?
Yeah, just get closer to it. If it's fading because like my vision's not focusing well, then I'm trying to like help myself out. If it's fading through the wall, I'll have a better idea of what it's doing being closer to it.
So as you're focusing more directly on it and walking towards it, it appears to be like literally like disintegrating into dust, and this dust is like just blowing away and fading as it moves away from the flower. The dust just fades into nothingness.
can I grab at any of the dust as it continues to collapse?
Okay. So you kind of like lunge for the dust. Can you give me a movement roll?
Yeah, I need to sleep so bad. Hey.
Nice. Okay, so you manage to kind of grab a handful of dust, and it just like fades in your hand. But all of a sudden, the darkness around you snaps to like perfect clarity. Well, sorry, not perfect clarity, dim clarity. You can kind of see everything in it in this monotone grayscale color, and but you can see as if it is not dark anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you have dark vision for 48 hours.
Okay. Did it like absorb into my skin at all?
It seemed to, yeah, like kind of disappear into you as you grabbed a handful of it.
Okay. I'm gonna explore the rest of the cave, and when I come back to the rest of the party, and like take a nap, I'll tell them about this and ask the bookworm if there's anything in his journal about this thing. And we should keep an eye out for this kind of stuff, even if it's extremely ephemeral.
Why, yes,
Describe
indeed there is.
describe this thing again.
Gray flower disintegrates when you look at it.
Yes, I believe I found the entry. It's called a shadow lily. If I might read it to you all. With black stem and petals of dark purple laced in black veins, the shadow lily was long considered a phantasm, an evil omen or trick of the mind. Before being lips, these lilies can only be seen indirectly or in fleeting glimpses from the corner of the eye. Should a person be lucky enough to catch a more direct view, the flower will appear to disintegrate and blow away on ethereal wind. Well, the only specimen ever recorded being picked were, in every case, picked by accident. In the first known incident, a young thief was kicked down a hill by a woman he sought to woo. While the lengthy tumble disposed him at the hill's base, the thief found the woman's position on the matter made clear, and a shadow lily in his hand. A freshly picked shadow lily glows with a faint black aura for several days, and during this time, consuming its pollen enables one to see in the dark. A single shadow lily offers 24 to 48 hours of vision in areas of darkness, and I'm sure would have would be worth a great deal in the hands of our masters.
Interesting.
Yeah, so basically you would all, if you all were to kind of catch a glimpse of these again, you would know better like how to act and more likely to actually harvest it, and just you got a little dose of it.
If you have brought up a new map, I cannot see it.
Can everyone else see the camp map?
No, I see a dark map.
Yeah, it all blacked out.
You stole our vision.
Exactly.
I sure did.
It should be very scary.
I'm just gonna borrow it for a little bit.
It's weird. I show you as having token vision, but when I change the settings, I'll just turn it off so you guys can see it again.
There.
All right. I think I'm having module conflicts on my darkness settings, but I'll work on that next time. Can you guys see again now?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
All right, we'll just leave it at this level. Okay, so you have your score. If we want to jump to the map page, what are you guys doing now?
Did we rest or rest?
Yeah, so we can rest, but like, what's your plans after this rest?
We have not scouted forward.
Right.
We want to return to the ogres, correct?
Yeah, so you were told by Locan to bring whatever you could find in the Direboar Cave to HS04 here for their main village. So you can do that, or you can go elsewhere.
And we basically picked the cavern clean, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you found quite a bit.
Okay.
No forks, though.
It's a shame. So is that
Well-
that your next move after you rest on?
I think so.
I believe so. That is my vote.
Mhm.
Same.
All right, so you can give me a group scouting roll just for watches of the night, and then you guys can take your effects of the rest, which is basically everyone that's damaged can heal up.
Oof. It's a lot of threes.
Sorry, was that with a +3?
It was.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell me your watch order, kind of like how you're going through keeping watch over the campsite at night?
I will be last.
I can be first. I can keep watch first.
Okay. Who's taking second?
I'll take second.
Just leave the two. Okay. So Siskel, during your watch, you hear it sounds like something small walking in kind of a steady pace, just kind of breaking branches, rustling leaves, sort of thing, down the cliff and through that area. You can't see what it is, or you. So you can. You have dark vision.
Night vision.
Yeah. So it appears to be a humanoid figure walking down there. They're kind of like steadily walking, kind of like parallel to you, not like really walking towards your campsite at all, just walking across that open area. So what are you going to do about that?
With us, or they're on the cliff above us?
They're down the cliff from you, from your campsite.
And about how far distance-wise?
So about over here, about 40 feet away from your camp, just kind of walking.
Is that
to
down?
the north. Yeah, that whole area is 50 feet down from you guys.
Gotcha.
All right. So I'm gonna watch where I'm at and look around and make sure there's nothing else up here with us, and then I'm just gonna watch them as they proceed and see where they go.
Okay. It does kind of appear to be maybe a human, and it looks like to be wearing some sort of plant matter as clothing. Maybe some sort of vines, since you do have dark vision. But they never stray from the course. They're gonna keep walking in unless you do anything about it.
Maybe one of Zamafolia's friends. He's not going to shout out or do anything to attract their attention.
Okay. Then we are going to start at dawn on the 5th day.
He will, like the person who relieves him on watch. He will mention this to them.
Okay, so we're going to be traveling to the next hex over.
And how many do you regain any stat damage overnight?
Yeah, so you will heal all your stat damage, and then everybody resets to 1 willpower.
Hallelujah.
Even if you had more than 1?
Yes, unfortunately.
Am I no longer broken?
You are no longer broken.
I do like how the healing and because it means that every fight is consequential, but you can come back pretty quickly from it. The only real problem is critical injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sustained fights are where the real problem are, or a chain of fights.
It's important to think about. Anyway, ignore me.
Okay, so on the character actor page, you can click into that party token, and as we're traveling, oops, sorry, that's not right. On the home page, you can click on the compass to get into your party sheet, and then you can click onto the travel tab. So what's everyone going to be doing while you're traveling? Once you move yourself into whatever position you're going to be doing, you can click the black words, and I believe that will automatically roll your roll for you based on your stats. So Jaws leading the way. Is anybody going to be keeping watch, or is everyone just going to be hiking?
Kind of waiting for this. Oh, there it is. That's.
I cannot both lead and watch, correct?
Correct.
Oh, I see.
By the way, I am a master at finding the right path through the woods. If I lead the way.
You
so
can
if
definitely.
you want me to lead the way, I can do that.
You should probably be the leader.
Yeah.
That sounds
Politely,
great.
I request to lead the way.
By
all
all
right, Jaws
means.
keeping watch. Z leading the way. Everybody else is just hiking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, leader and scout, can you roll your
No modifier?
jobs? If you click on the name of the box you're in, the black name, it should roll automatically with your stats.
He is led.
Beautiful. Okay, we're gonna roll an encounter since scouting didn't work out, and then Wayfinder, if you could move us over to Hex 4.
Does this also move us from dawn to morning?
Yes, we're gonna move to morning on the time reference. So morning of the 5th day. Okay, so this encounter is basically finding the village.
Glovrook.
Okay, so as you break through the jungle, heading eastward on the island, you kind of walk into a pair of ogres who are kind of waiting in the path for you.
What's the vibe? Are they like friendly happy to see us? Are they
Can I roll a
cautious in
vibe
the
check?
face?
Yeah. So
what's
since
the vibe check?
So basically how it works when you travel, if you succeed the scout, you're going to see them first. If not, they're going to see you first. So apparently they had heard you coming, and they're just kind of waiting passively. They both have an axe down to their sides, and they they seem open to you, like they're not aggressive at all.
Obsidian.
Kind of watching you approach.
Everything we've seen before.
Yeah, 2 obsidian axes, and as you get close, they're going to wave you and wave you to come with them, and head a little bit to the south from your path, and then they lead you to the village if you follow them.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Okay, so you break through the jungle into this huge clearing. You see the center section here is a large hill. It appears the backside of it towards you guys are covered with small plots of kind of crops of some type, and then each kind of cluster of tents or canvases. Most of the main clusters are surrounded by a little trench of water. Some of the huts are outside the trenches. They seem to be less frequented, and you do see various ogres about. And kind of around the edges of the hill.
How big are the trenches?
They're about 5 feet across.
Okay. Not very deep?
You can't really tell from your angle.
Okay.
But around the edge of the hill, you see it to be like a short ogre, and it kind of looks at you and then runs back behind the hill. And you see, as you kind of break through into the clearing, all the ogres kind of get animated and start walking around. So you do catch a glimpse of a few more of those short-looking ogres, and they kind of disappear into the hill, onto its south side there. And then otherwise, you're free to act. Some more ogres start to approach you, and they just kind of jump over those trenches around the campsites.
Do those others that we saw look juvenile?
That would be a good guess.
Okay. I will slowly and cautiously approach the top right moated grouping of tents.
Okay, so
Hands out. No weapon drawn.
it doesn't take long for you to recognize Glavrock and his horned headdress. Sorry. He's about again, these guys are huge hulking figures. He's about 12 feet tall. Lelken is here as well with his large bird skull helm.
Mm-hmm.
And they wave to you, and they're approaching.
Wonderful.
My friends, we have returned from the Great Boar. We bring meats from the boar's butt and all of the treasures within its cave, which were lacking, but we brought them all that we could find.
Including some of the weapons of what we think was your friend.
You
Found
also
a dead guy.
you had a fallen comrade outside of it. He's
Thank you.
a bit too heavy for us to bring with you, but we kept our respect.
They nod and thanks to you, and then Glavrock kind of turns to Welcan, and then they speak in their deep rumbling speech. You catch what might be a name in there is Zykan.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like they might know who it would be. And then Glavrock turns to you and thank you, my new friends, for returning the items to us. We welcome you to our campfires. You can break your fast with us.
Please.
I bow.
Do you have that strange tea you gave us the last time we met?
You are a fan of Lekan's brew.
Ah, yes, please. Tell me a recipe. And I'll, try and get, real buddy-buddy with him. Give him a couple nudges.
Okay. So over the conversation, you can make a manipulation roll to see if you can get that.
Okay.
Can I help with that? I would very much like to know what that is.
Plus
Do you wanna roll the manipulation and I'll help you with that?
I would love to. I've got 6 die in that. So what does the assist give me? Just +1?
Yep.
Great. Let's see how we do.
Hey.
Not a bad start.
Okay,
You know what? I'm just going to let it ride, as opposed to screwing it up by spending a willpower.
Yeah, you're fine with 2 successes there.
Pretty happy with it.
Yeah, you overcome his insight, so should be fine. So yeah, over the conversation you can get the recipe. But what are you gonna want to be talking to Locan and Glavrock about?
What are we talking to them about? I'll express. We were able to I apologize. John did an incredible job setting up a trap to slay the beast. You should have seen it. It was quite impressive. And in addition to manipulating, I'm going to do performance, where I'm going to describe in detail and with eloquence Jaw's defeat of the boar, if that's all right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that sounds great.
I'll give a hair flip.
Exactly. So I'll have Jaw assisting me with that as well. Let's see how that do. All right, so that's 1 success, but I'm actually going to push it.
Oh.
That added. Very good. So good. I take no damage, but there we
Right.
So I'm going to just give this narrative description of his feats of athletic and daring do, of the bravery that we showed skulking through the cave, etc., etc. The shadowy presence of Sizgo watching over to protect his ally. And so on and so on. Just really, really, what's the term? Chew the scenery, I think.
Embellish.
Yeah. Okay. I like that a lot. Cool. They definitely seem to be, hanging on your words, and then the various ogres who are kind of on their patrols around the camp, like sometimes stop and seem to listen for a while, and you catch like a laugh, and then they like cough to cover it up and head on around their patrols. So you definitely catch some attention and see me building a renown with these people. So very good.
Love it.
For giving over the items, are you going to give everything you found, or how's that going to work?
I have no attachment to anything we found.
What about your fancy arrow that you got?
What arrow?
Didn't you get a fancy
The
arrow?
black
last
arrow?
time?
No.
Oh, I know, but what arrow?
Oh yeah, okay.
I don't think that I got a broad description of any of the weapons in the pack, but the deal was they get first pick.
Right.
So I'm prepared to give them first pick, and then if they're like, "Hey, do you like this magic back scratcher and this fork that we crafted out of something else?" You
Keep
know,
the
at
fork.
that point we'll have a conversation. Yeah.
Keep the fork.
Yep.
Are any of them using dining utensils while we're eating and storytelling?
So for the most part, no. Like they do seem to have a smaller boar over the fire here, and they offer it out for your breakfast. Either they're eating like right off the bone, or if anything, using like little obsidian knives to kind of like hack off larger chunks. So
Makes sense.
Knives are their only real utensil.
Mention that they could very easily make a fork out of obsidian, but I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, the tree was relatively clear that it would only accept a metal version.
Correct.
I think I remember that as well.
Smart of it.
It's clever. Okay.
Anytime conversation dims, I'm bringing the topic back around to their god and how awesome their god is and how I'd like to know more. And does the god accept parishioners even now, even though he has the ogres who are such powerful and potent allies?
Okay. Yeah. So Gladrock and Lo kind of like going through the equipment you've piled at their feet, and they are kind of talking to you as you're doing that. So if you ask about Magok, Lilkan will kind of pipe up and say, Magok always seeks those who have vengeance in their heart and the purity of purpose to pursue it. The more you give to vengeance, the more Magok will accept you and the greater power he bestows.
So, other people might want to roll insight because the degree of my character's interest just like quadrupled in that precise moment. Just FYI.
Okay. I don't personally give a shit about whatever made up gods they've got.
Yeah, neither does this goal.
Z, are you gonna?
The only he hears them talking about how the god wants them to, like, eat goblins or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Z?
As a tree, I take no interest in the matters of, gods.
Okay, so kind of like haltingly to Zernak, they're kind of focusing their attention, and occasionally they're kind of conferring themselves as they pick up one of the weapons you've recovered and like kind of talk about it in their own tongue. And so Zernak, you hear from Lelkan that basically if you have a target of vengeance and act against it, Magok will take notice of you. And he talks about like the levels of devotion there are, and he gestures around to the other ogres. And if you remember last time, most of them are kind of like this, 10-foot tall monstrosities of like just tusked face, this gray skin, and like this fattish muscle body. But a few of them are like super lean and like never speak. And he gestures at them, and he calls them Edgesworn, which is a term you've heard before. And he says that they've given themselves completely over to Magok to the point of ending their lives. And if Magok finds them worthy, he brings them back. And if they serve well, they'll regain the ability to speak and gain power over the bodies of those I've slain in vengeance.
Like more than one.
Yeah.
I don't know how to be more metal. Like, this is metal as F. I'll contact you about this.
Okay.
That's great. That's fun.
Cool. Yeah, so that's something you can pursue in future games.
It,
So as for the... Oh, go ahead.
I'll turn to what's your guy's name? Unadept?
Cisco.
Oh, Zernak.
Zernak. I'll turn to Zernak and kind of whisper kind of silently in the most posh version of our language that I can to kind of have like a difficult time of intercepting the message to him. But I'll whisper to him, seems like death is not that permanent around here. This is the second time we've heard something like this.
I've never seen and I'll whisper back, obviously, and my language is not posh. It is gutter, but it is very servile. You know what I mean? Yes, so it seems. I've never seen a place such as this in all my years. I've never known such abundance of magic.
If you have but one stone, where do you put it?
We'll have to haul back to our masters, and maybe we can take a portion of it back with us. Or stay here with the magic.
Okay, so
I don't answer.
They as you kind of finish talking, they've sorted through the equipment and kind of confirmed among themselves, and then Glavrak speaks and says, I thank you, friends, if I may call you that, for returning this gear. It will help us in our battle against the Fugonauts. And to my reckoning and the awareness of my people, it appears you have brought everything back to me. And I do appreciate your honesty and forthrightness. We will not need these items. So he kind of like leaves with you if you want to take it.
Why don't I act as quartermaster? Let me see if I can figure out where that's at, and I can just type
it's in the equipment and loot card or the equipment card.
I got it.
So he leaves with you the kind of ivory harpoon or whaling spear.
Okay.
And trying to see what else he leaves.
And I'll just have these designated under the equipment and loot as a... Well, I can see if there's another other category, so never mind. I'll go ahead and use that.
Okay. He does leave the obsidian great axe. He's like, this is a powerful item. It is an axe I made for one of our brothers who has fallen, and it has great power against those who spawn from the fires of planes beyond this one, if you choose to take it. So that cold obsidian great axe is left with you. You did not bring the metal hands.
We'll ask after that, actually, though.
Okay. And yep, that's all he leaves, actually. So that's just a harpoon and the great axe. And then the chainmail as well. He's like, basically says that none of them can wear that.
So I'm going to ask him after... I immediately forgot. What are we talking about? What was the thingy?
Metal hand.
Thank you. Yes, I'll ask. We found metal hands that appeared to be solid, almost like the arms of statuary in the cave as well. They didn't seem to be any sort of weapons, so we concealed them so that they wouldn't be within the cave anymore. But we didn't know what they were, and we didn't know if they were cursed. Do you know anything of these?
Lilcan speaks up and says, I am not aware of this item, and nor knew it was in the cave. Our people have not seen it in our own raids of the cave. But it sounds like it may be the arms of one of the golems, the ancient people that used to live on this island built. I'm not sure. But it does not sound something we would be interested in.
Do you know if such things are typically cursed?
There are many magics left in the wonders and arts that are left on the island. Some friendly, some not, and it's really hard to tell without interacting with each item on its own basis.
Of course, and that's why we left them behind, because we couldn't trust that they wouldn't strangle us in our sleep. But we'll see. If we find a tool to utilize them better or more understanding, we may re-interact with them, and we may speak to you about that again. Thank you so much, as always.
Of course. Yeah, so they don't really have any more information. The brew that Lokai makes, the recipe kind of wheedle out of him, is basically a tea made from these light blue mushroom caps that are kind of found throughout the jungles. So with some kind of scrounging checks, you can find them occasionally in certain locations and kind of brew your own batches.
Right. And is that a fermentation task, or is it just tea?
It's a tea.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, we're going to have to forage for those, because I think Marty's right. 100%, that stuff is gold. So we need that.
Regardless of its setbacks.
So any other questions right now?
Can I wander over to their, armory island that they have while they're talking about gods and stuff?
Yeah, sure. Let me go back to your map. Okay. Sure. Yeah, so over here you see two of the ogres working in this pile of obsidian into just sets of weapons, and they're crafting almost as fast as Glavrock was before, where he just basically, molded it as clay with his bare hands. And they're just basically pumping out weapons and piling them up. And they look at you and give you a nod, but they're not engaging with you, just watching them.
I balance an arrow on a finger. I do a couple tricks with it or something. Do a little showing off. I'll just kind of throw it at a dart in between the two of them. Obviously not threatening.
Yeah. Okay.
My friends.
So the one on the right balances a obsidian spear and then throws it an inch away from your foot into the ground and gives you a very toothy, tusky smile.
I give him a big shit-eating grin. My friends, I ask a favor of you.
What is it you want, small one?
These arrows of mine that I have come with do not fit the purpose of this island, as you well know.
Okay.
How could you help me? You are very skilled in what you do here. I have much respect for you peoples.
So are you asking for obsidian arrows?
Yeah.
I think you guys got that last time, right? Or is
Yeah,
that
we
only
get some.
Siskel?
We get spikes.
That's right. Okay. So you did not get arrows?
I don't believe so.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so they can make you some arrows.
Cool. Even just the arrowheads is fine.
Okay, and you'd make the rest?
Or something. I'll meet them where they're at.
Okay, so the one who through the spirit, you walks up and he kind of takes an arrow from you and looks at the dimension of the head and he just kind of very quickly whips out a few dozen of them. So basically for in the next two combats where you use arrows, you wouldn't have to roll for ammo.
Okay. Fair enough. Cool. Do they have any pole arms?
Some of their axes kind of are pole arms too, just for the size difference, and the spears as well. What it specifically you're looking for?
Something to give either the tree or the one that turns into animals a fighting chance, not directly face to face with the thing.
Yeah, so basically, Glavrock would, since you've served them well so far, you would get permission to get any kind of basic weapon from them if you wanted to.
Okay.
So yeah, that's possible.
I'll pick up one of those spears and kind of make a joke about how it's a really big walking stick for someone like me. Ask if I can just take it with me for good luck.
Okay. Does anybody else want any basic weapons?
I'm gonna chuck it over to our druid friend. Or shape changer friend. Yeah. I'm gonna walk back with it, and then we'll make eye contact, and you'll start saying hello, and I'll just chuck it in the air to you.
Oh, thank you.
Are there any small swords? I'd kind of like something bigger than my dagger, and also a bow if there's a bow.
So there won't be any bows, but you can get.
I can give you another spear.
Weapon you want. So if you want a short sword or whatever, that's fine.
I ironically would like a set of small kitchen knives for filleting fishes or cutting up deer or some stuff like that. Ought to be just because they're small, they're sharp, they're hard. So I think that makes sense.
Right. Okay. So they're gonna definitely scoff at how tiny these knives are that you've requested, but they'll make them.
Yeah, I'm leaning real hard into being as pathetic as possible in hopes that all the giant fight ogres will take pity on me. So they'll go with that.
Okay, so while you're talking, Glavrock takes his leave of you and is leaving with a small group of ogres to kind of run the equipment you've gathered to various guarding sites or patrols. They're out in the jungle. So Locan is still with you. D, did you want any weapons?
No on the weapons, but I did want to ask Locan about the moat and its purpose.
Okay, so yeah, you basically are able to jump over this water. If you look down into the trenches, you see they're actually pretty deep, about 4 or 5 feet deep, and there is obsidian spikes down there, but it's such a short distance that you are able to jump it. And then Locan kind of explains that we build binders, and he kind of gestures to himself, can work the bones from the very enemies we have defeated in our quest for vengeance. And we have inspelled these waters that creatures of fire and their servants cannot pass unharmed, and will be ensorcelled to fall in these small trenches that others can easily pass over.
Creatures of fire. I think you mentioned those a couple minutes ago. Anything more that you can share about these creatures of fire? And how to defend yourself from one?
Yeah, just a second, let me look this up. Yeah, so Savarku and his Fugonauts, Savarku himself is a being from a plane of pure fire and heat, and many of his servants are either partially or completely residents of the same plane, and they bear the elemental cores of fire within themselves, and their power is weakened by water and cold, and so we use those powers against them.
Got it. No further questions from me.
No further questions, Your Honor. All right. Any other general conversations and questions folks want to ask before we advance the story here?
It's good for me.
I do have just some quick questions about the weapons that we have access to. The obsidian or the ivory harpoon, how heavy is that? How does that compare to the spear?
So it's the same as a long spear, and it really seems to have no special features other than it's just very well made. It has whaling scenes on it. It looks nice, so it might catch some. It might be of some value where you could trade it. The axe itself, they said it was ensorcelled against beams of fire, and it does feel extremely cold. It's a great axe, so it's a heavy weapon. And then the rest they took aside from the chainmail. If somebody wants to equip that,
Who's already wearing armor?
I am.
Jaw has chainmail from the commander from the ship, and then everybody else.
I'll hold it out to Sizgal. I think he can make better use of it.
Does it fit me?
It can be made to fit you. With some extra strapping, it can fit your small frame.
All right, I'll wear chainmail. Sure.
Yes.
Cool. And I'll carry the spear.
Okay. Is anyone going to take the gray axe, or you're going to leave it?
So I'm of two minds of that, and maybe we want to talk about that briefly. I can't use it. I don't think any of us can as a weapon, but it might be useful as like a halberd to stave off incoming fire creatures. But it's also super heavy, so I don't know if we all want to carry it or if somebody wants to carry it.
I also think it's a great trading token.
That's true.
Yeah, so equipment that you're not going to use is great for trading.
Actually, you know what? Armor or chainmail is heavy and it slows you down. I'm thinking Sizgal might not really want to wear chainmail.
I'll point to Z then. Z?
I feel like chainmail is loud, for the same reasons. And I'm trying to be sneaky, so I don't know if it's the best use. But I'll carry it for now. So I can wear it to transport it, so we can trade it off later.
It's possible I wouldn't mind wearing it if no one else is.
Go for it. Yes. Take it.
Thank you. I will then, only because I don't know how else to protect myself. So I'll happily take the chainmail and I'll don it.
Awesome. I remember I have my tusk that I got from the boar. Can they do anything with it? Anything worth trading?
So they didn't take the tusk. It's yours to do with what you want.
Can they make anything out of it? Maybe a wand for my friend?
You can talk to somebody that is better about splintering off usable chunks of it, if that's what you want.
Yes, I think so. That would be nice.
What is this vine pit over here?
Okay, so you're going to go explore that?
I want to keep my distance, but look at it.
Okay. So it appears to be a pit full of just general refuse and bones. You actually, as you're walking up, you see a ogre walking away from there that just threw in an armload of stuff, and you see some just unusual bits of boar, maybe some of those lizard folks that you found dead in the cave as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the vines are slowly kind of pulsing and pulling things down into the pit, and you notice for a refuse pit, the vines must be kind of eating things pretty quickly and keeping it clean, because there's no there's not a bad smell or anything, but it just appears to be a waste pit of some sort.
Vines similar to what was on that tree?
What was on the cliff, yeah. Or in the kind of less mature version of what attacked your friend.
Okay.
So these don't appear to be independently mobile, like a bonfire carpet. These are just the bonfire vines.
Okay. On our way out, I would like to ask one last favor of the armorers down there.
What you gonna ask?
Okay. Can they make me a long, kind of thinner rod of obsidian, maybe about a foot long?
Why you want this? And as he asks you, he very easily makes the rod.
It is there's something special for us small folk. How long of a story do you want?
I'd like to hear a little bit how you felt. He'll just ask for a short story, whatever you want to.
I'm gonna intentionally give him the very beginning of Dwarven history and like start going until he gets really bored.
Okay, so like the world starts with a pebble sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. And then it
Okay.
was given the Halddarth the First, and then he began building upon it and just keep going with the story until he gets bored.
It doesn't seem to take very long at all.
Okay.
But
Great.
he makes you a rod, and just to clarify, Zernak does have his tusk wand as well.
That's fine.
Thank you.
You might need more than
Okay.
one, I'm assuming.
Oh,
I don't know how
wand
these
is-
things work, but
The wand is the only thing conceivable that doesn't disappear every time I use it. Honestly, I should have been smart and gotten a whole bunch of teeth, but I didn't because I was focused on the food, so I'm an idiot. But anyway.
no worries.
Okay, so I will describe the south of this hill really quick too. There are 6 kind of stone pillars here, about 15, 17 feet high, kind of thing. Look so taller than any ogre here. And on the top of them, there seems to be like some kind of something silver glistening up there. And as you walked by that to get to the pit jaw, you felt like this kind of coolness in your body and heard like the sounds of the ocean, and you just felt like calmed. And you do see that stone door set into the south side of the hill there that is closed fast. So just make sure those things are noted. If everyone's asked all their questions and kind of gotten all the equipment they want, Locan does have some kind of guidance for you moving forward.
Oh, of course I have more questions now. While they hand me the rod, and he's just like, "Oh, okay, I get it." I'm gonna take like 2 steps away, kind of like turn over my shoulder. These pillars, the door, they're very curious. Do you know about them? Of course you know about them. What are they?
Yes, they're gifts from our friend, the Nymerians, of people of the water. And they have given these to help safeguard our village.
Are they safe?
The Nymerians?
The pillars.
Safe unless you wish harm to those who dwell here.
I see. And the Nymerians?
They're safe.
Do you have a pact or an agreement between you two?
They too seek vengeance. I do not know if I am authorized to tell you the details of our agreement, but we are allies.
This may be strange, but if you were to make a dark pigment of either berries or a crushed insect, what would you use, or do you have any around? Does big man over there, pointing to like the cooking area, does he have things? How do you stain your clothes?
They actually have this. Let me look it up.
Point being, I'm gonna try and figure out what symbol is common amongst all 6 of those pillars, and I want to tattoo it onto my forearm using the obsidian spike.
Okay. Just a second. So he directs you over to Tuku over here, who would know about dyes.
Mm-hmm. I ask him the same things.
Okay, so this huge ogre is just weaving tons of baskets, and he has baskets piled around him. And many of them he's decorating with this like pre-dyed grass he has in various baskets around him. And he's waving in various kind of like animal or fish patterns into the baskets, and just like very quickly slamming them out. Again, the same kind of industriousness of his fellows making weapons. And he tells you that there are there are these scorpions that kind of live in a hive structure, and if you can drown the nest, so you can kill them without getting stung, they make a very good black ink or black dye.
I see. Do you have any other pigments and maybe a sheet of parchment or papers or?
So like, what are you trying to? He has like fabrics that are dyed like green, red, or blue.
I'm gonna put the piece of paper over the column, and then smear something on it to then copy.
Okay. Once you kind of explain to what you want to him, he can give you like a small leaf of dye base, basically, kind of like folded up around a few drops of dye, and you can use another leaf to get the rubbing. If that's what you're trying to get.
Pretty much.
Kind of like leaf instead of a paper.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
I just want to get the whatever common symbol is there, so that I can.
Okay, so there are tons of symbols on these pillars, but they all have a very stylized wave pattern, like just an ocean wave in a kind of like artsy, almost like unrecognizable look to it that you're able to kind of see is common between them all.
Gotcha. Okay. I will copy that down.
Okay. So we're going to go to Lelcan. He's going to ask you to show his map, actually, or show him the map you have. So we'll go to the map page. So for your service, he's going to tell you that here on Hex 23, there is a place of ways that will allow you to travel through arches of various metals and stones that will take you to places on the island. So he's revealing this here to you for your service so far, and is just saying it would be a good place for like it's a fairly safe place for a home base for you all.
Oh, just across the entire island? Is that all?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you remember, just as a reminder, HS-14 is where the company is supposed to be stopping in every 7 days.
Can we ask him how near coast water travel is?
What do you mean, like small boats?
Yeah, is it feasible? Or is it always just choppy and chaotic and hazardous?
Magok, being a small god, even he had difficulties traveling to this island. There is something about it that does not want intruders here. It does not allow new people to come easily without cost. So you can travel by boat, but it's going to be risky.
Okay. Does he have a whole map like laid out in front of us as he's pointing at things?
No, like he seems like kind of impressed with your map, and they just make crude drawings of the island that kind of direct each other.
Gotcha.
They don't have anything in this detail.
Do they know anything about the tiles south of 12 and 13? The arches?
So like HS-18 and this blank one?
Yeah, the blank one.
Yeah. So the blank one, there aren't any official sites to find. There's just going to be a jungle area there.
Okay.
Like empty, basically like random encounter maps versus like an actual location map.
Okay.
HS-18 is he describes as kind of old slave quarters for those who served in the mountain mines. Confirm that.
I'm going to ask, Wise one. Are there any ways off this island that are not by boat?
Just a second. Yeah, so HS-18 is just it is dangerous, but there are like old Owen sites there that are pretty corroded, and it's just this plain of like lava pits and stuff from the island, and where slaves were executed. And then as for ways off the island, he doesn't know of any. They were brought here by magical means, but they're seeking to make the island their home since they don't really have a native place. So they haven't really. Basically, the gist of the conversation is they haven't really explored ways out off the island because it has no interest to them.
Understandable.
What to the immediate south should we be careful about? And is there anything interesting that maybe we should look at and not miss on our way through?
So his advice, it boils down to basically skirt around either side of the volcano. Don't try to cross through it because you're definitely going to be intercepted by the Fugonauts, the worst of being the obsidian giants that you had talked about him with last time.
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of, once the Nine Axe Ogres rebelled and fought for their freedom from Savarku, the obsidian giants and their kind of obsidian soldiers that follow them around were brought in to kind of quell the rebellion and kill the Night Axe Ogres. They haven't been successful, but they're just constantly patrolling the area and are extremely dangerous.
Okay.
I think there is a site he would kind of tell you immediately.
I'm thinking we should go to 8.
Okay, if that's what you talk about. He says the 8, that hex should be fairly safe. There's quite a few ogres there that are working the whale graveyards. So remember they told you that Magok drove many whales up onto the beach as a source of food for the Night Axe ogres. So they definitely have a presence there. So he will tell you that.
Okay, because I know in 7 we saw those guardians, and I'd like to avoid that.
Right, and then so what you see if you find a high vantage point or use a spell to spy into other areas, it doesn't mean those what you see is always going to be there. It's going to be there for the next watch or something.
Right.
There's just constant patrols everywhere. So if you see creatures in a hex, doesn't mean they're always there. Just that they're likely to be there.
Gotcha. What do you guys think? 8, 13, space 18?
Conscious of 18. But
It seems like we have to go through it unless you want to try and risk a boat.
yeah, I don't want to go the long way either to the west. That doesn't make sense.
I mean, it seems like it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other way.
I'm always muted. It's ridiculous. Yes, I think that all makes sense. And I think that area with the lava flows, there's a potential that we could find some artifacts from there. And I hate to say it, I'll be honest, this island seems a lot more comfortable than a lot of places where I came from. But that being said, we must still haul or the brand will eat us. So even if I have no desire to get off, we must still return to our masters or we will be destroyed.
Fair enough.
So
Okay, so
once there, I'm open to other ideas, I should say. I have... Please never tell any of those above us, but I have no loyalty to our masters.
Your secret is safe.
Are you
Thank
joking?
you.
Do you think any of us have loyalty to our master?
There are a lot of people out there who would take advantage. It's hard to know who to have loyalty to. But I understand you all seem very, what's the term? Opposed to the idea of masters, which I do appreciate.
seems very fitting for this group of rebels.
of almost all rogues.
Pretty much. Okay, so Lelcan does say he kind of confirms the story the other ogre had told you that the second quest that he gave you to free their friends, there are Nereids, which are people of water trapped across the island. Some of them in service to Savarku, and some of them just elsewhere on the island because they originally were enslaved by elves. And they're often trapped inside of works of art, or such as paintings and stuff. So if you want to complete that quest, you would have to kind of watch out for artworks that may contain figures of watery creatures such as mermaids and such. He does ask that you kind of keep out watch for them, and otherwise you're going to have completed the boar raid quest. So we'll finish that up, I'll figure out the XP and the outcome for that for next session, and we'll probably end it here with your plan to kind of travel down the eastern side of the island for next session.
Okie dokie.
Fantastic. Just as an aside, I really like this system. It's kind of bizarre how much I like it. It's so simple and so timeless. It reminds me really of the old days, kind of like the fantasy trip might.
Totally.
But I have kind of a thing for homebrew and modding systems.
Sure.
This one isn't complicated. I don't know how, if you're interested, but I wouldn't mind making custom stuff for this.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely open to it. I find it very hard not to homebrew. We already have a few homebrew rules, so yeah, if you have suggestions for just general rules, or if you want to make spells or new talents and stuff, I'm open to it.
Well, let me put it this way. If my guy is able to walk the path of vengeance, the ice affinity spell thing would be very easily converted into a magma affinity ability.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's super cool. Love that stuff.
Cool.
Anyway,
yeah, I'm open to it.
Great game. Having a lot of fun.
Cool.
Awesome. Good game.
Thank you all. Any feedback, any questions just for how things are running so far?
Haven't died yet.
Surprisingly. Well,
Take your best efforts.
Kind of surprisingly.
I'm getting more familiar with the system and getting more familiar with Boundary, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I wasn't quite sure how Forbidden Lands would work with the Hot Springs Island thing, but it seems to work pretty well.
Yeah, the balance is good, and you all are playing it, well. You're not trying to go and fight everything. We've only had the one real combat with the blind fire vines, and otherwise you've been very smart and clever about things, or just open to negotiation. So definitely a way to approach this game.
There are two things that I will say about the system one of which I would not advise changing, and one of which I kind of would prefer. The first one is I kind of think success should be 5 and 6, but that's just a mechanics thing. I don't know that we should change that for this game in particular, but if I were running something similar, that might be a change that I'd make. The second thing is that I think that willpower is a little bit, it's hard to get it.
It is.
And I think that is a little frustrating. But anyway.
Yeah, so I definitely agree on the willpower thing. That's why I wanted the homebrew, you start with 1 willpower, and then now you have a brew you can make sometimes.
How do you get it when you don't start with 1?
You gotta screw up a push.
How do you push without a willpower?
Oh, you don't need a willpower push. You do because you're a dwarf. I think your first push is free, and then you keep on pushing.
Yeah.
Okay.
First push is free.
Every first push is free. Gotcha.
Right. Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
Noted.
I do like that. I do like the balancing act of you have to be damaged in order to get willpower. I think that's kind of cool, but it also seems restrictive to have that be the only way to gain willpower.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about the system and say it's their players game, you push travel rolls and low risk rolls to get a lot of willpower. It really hasn't come up with this group, and so I think it's hard to get willpower. So we'll see about that, and then I'll look into what people say about success rolls. I will say there's been a ton of failed rolls or just no dice rolls, even with a lot of pluses, and it's kind of against what the success rate is supposed to be in the book. Once you have once you're rolling like above like 7 dice in a roll, like you should have pretty good rate of success. But I don't know if we just have bad dice luck or what.
I mean,
sometimes yes, sometimes no. Like we did.
Just looking at a mechanic. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, just looking at it mechanically, if you have a pool of 6, you should probably get 1 success. But that's a big pool. That's hard to reach, you know what I'm saying? That's like your focused attributes and focused skills.
Yeah, group rolls and with pluses,
And I think with the pluses, it mitigates my concerns significantly. I think that if you were a more conservative GM and didn't allow those modifiers, we would be failing a lot more often, and which is why, just looking at the mechanics, I'd argue for 5 and 6. But I haven't had a problem in this game. Just looking at the system alone, that's what I think.
Changing to 5 or 6 would be like doubling the success rate.
Right.
Exactly.
Move.
So I'll do some research of like what homebrew people did, but I am a lot more lenient with the pluses than they suggest, or just because like I read about like another system, Dark Heresy, that it's like really hard to get good rolls without GM pluses. So I'm kind of carrying some of that tips over to this.
That's why one of the things you could do, this would require more finagling. And by the way, guys, tell me to shut up if I go on too long about systems. But what you could do is you could have 1s subtract from 5s and 6s, but they don't burn damage until later. But I don't know.
Push.
Yeah, I'll do some research.
Yeah, it's worth. I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it. I've enjoyed the system so far mechanically.
I'd rather live with a slight, if we get bad luck or whatever, I'd rather live with that, but keep the system simple than trying to like fine tune dice pools so that we're counting 6s and 1s and subtracting, and that it negates the 6, but only in this condition. I mean, let's just live with it.
Yeah, I think the solution right now is just going to be like keeping up with the bonuses, but I'll see if there's common feedback and stuff, and talk to you guys about it before make any big changes like that. But yeah, definitely agree. I'd prefer to keep it on the simple side.
Sure. I think we had really good luck the last game with the boar.
Yeah.
To be honest,
that worked out really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only real failed roll was putting down the spikes. Didn't slow down the boar at all, and then the jump to the tree. But I mean, I think that made it work out so much more cinematically, anyways.
Yeah, and like I could have pushed it, and I chose not to. Luckily, I saved it to then heal myself after I got concussed. So yeah,
cool.
I'm very happy with how this is going.
All right, well, thank you all very much, and it was fun.
Yep.